U.S. recession probably reaches 67%. This is via Political Calculations blog on Zero Hedge. What month will the National Bureau of Economic Research someday get around to saying marked the beginning of the next recession in the USA? The NBER is notoriously slow in identifying when the business cycle in the US either peaks before going into recession or troughs when coming out of one, often lagging behind these events by many months. That's because they take a number of data series into consideration and will wait until many go through revisions before determining if the national US economy has truly changed direction from growth to contraction or vice versa, according to their model of the economy. Because they're so slow, analysts have built models to try to predict the timing of when the country's business cycle has changed, when evidence is building that it has, long before the NBER makes its official determination. Some of these models are oriented towards recession forecasting. They've been built to use currently available data to try to anticipate the most likely timing of when the NBER will likely is to say the business cycle change from boom to bust. In a sense, they're using models to predict when the NBER's business cycle model will someday find the U.S. economy went into recession. That brings us to a recession forecasting model whose results we've been featuring since October 2022, when a leading recession indicator first flashed a red warning sign. That model was introduced by Jonathan Wright in a 2006 paper while he worked at the Federal Reserve Board. This model uses just 3 data series to generate the probability the NBER will identify a month sometime between the date of interest and a 1 year into the future. One of those data points is the rolling 1/4 average of the federal funds rate. The other 2 are the rolling 1/4 averages of the yields of 2 constant maturity U.S. Treasuries, one for the 10-year U.S. T-note and the other for the 3-month T-bill. For this data, the red warning lights start flashing when the yield of a 3-month Treasury bill, a T-bill, drops below the yield of the 10-year Treasury. This is a clear sign that the U.S. Treasury yield curve has inverted, with short-term yields paying higher yields than long-term yields. Historically, yield curve inversions have occurred before the U.S. economy entered into recession. Wright's innovation was able to also take the level of the federal funds rates into account, recognizing that how the Federal Reserve sets it in accordance with its monetary policies affects the likelihood of recession. As of the close of trading on 27th of April 2023, Wright's recession forecasting model anticipates a 67% probability the period between now and the end of April 2024 will contain the month the NBER will someday say mark the beginning of a national recession in the U.S. The latest update to the recession probability track shows how that probability has evolved since our previous update 1 month ago. The chart shows current probability of recession being officially determined to have begun between April 27, 2023 and April 27, 2024 is 67%, assuming the Fed follows through on hiking the federal funds rate by another 20.25%, 25 base points next week. The probability of an official recession will continue rising. Doing some back-of-the-envelope math using our recession odds reckoning tool with a 10-year and 3-month Treasury as inverted as they are today, the odds of recession will reach the 70% threshold in about 2 weeks. Even if the Federal Reserve stops hiking the federal fund rates after its Federal Open Market Committee meets to set its rate next week, the odds of recession will breach 80% threshold in early July of this year. Analyst notes, 2 members of the NBER's Business Cycle Dating Committee have the new working paper in which they indicate Americans should expect a recession this year and next year. The role Federal Reserve officials in changing from expansionary to contractionary monetary policies looms large in their assessment. So here we go. Recession is coming. This is by Political Calculations blog on Zero Hedge by Tyler Durden. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.